Now let's move to capital account balance. So the fourth concept, capital account balance. What is that? Capital receipts minus capital payments. Now what all things will come under capital receipts? All these inflow, borrowings. Okay, so foreigners buying assets in India, the borrowings, foreigners buying assets in India, investing in India, all these will come under capital receipts. All are inflows. And when you are investing abroad, it is outflow. So Indian investing abroad, borrowings, all these are part of capital payments. Okay, now this we have always surplus, and 2015 16 values plus 40 billion surplus. Okay, so and in capital account we always have a surplus only, so always surplus. So surplus 40 billion in 2015-16. Now the question is it good or bad? So when you're trying to understand, you have to understand it from short term and long term perspective. So obviously a short term it is very good because you are getting fund and it is actually can be used for capital formation and all those things. But long term it is not considered good because anyway it leads to outflow of money. Anyway you have to pay it back with interest. Okay, but still short term in developing countries like India, it is actually very beneficial for capital formation and everything. Now if you remember, we have talked about services here. So factor services, what do you think? It should be positive, right? So this factor services should be actually positive, but you know, in our case, again I'm talking about 2015-16 data, is actually negative, 24 billion negative. Do you know what is the reason why it is actually negative? It is because you know the foreign borrowings is actually increasing, and when the borrowings is increasing, for these borrowings, whether it is ECB or anything, you have to pay this with interest. Okay, and you know from where this interest is going? Interest is going from here, from you know current account. Okay, so it is actually going from this part. This interest is actually taken from this part. So the borrowings is under the capital account, so fund is coming under capital account, but the interest are paid from current account. So when more the borrowings are coming, more the interest you need to pay, and the interest you are actually paying from the current account. Okay, so effectively long term current account deficits will increase because payment from current account deficit is actually increasing. So one of the reason for increasing current account deficit is actually the huge interest that you paid which for the money which you have borrowed under the capital account. So the inflow which is coming in capital account, the outflow is actually from the current account in terms of interest, and that also increase the current account deficit. One of the reason for increasing current account deficit, or one of the impact of you know the capital account surplus, it is actually desirable short term, but one of the negative impact is actually that lead to increase in current account deficit, because all these inflows you are supposed to pay back with interest, and the interest are gone from this current account. Okay, so I've shown you here, from here this interest is actually going. So interest is charged from the current account, paid from the current account. So effectively long term current account deficit is actually increasing. So I hope this is clear for all of you. Now let's see, I'll show you a balance of payments summary here. Same year 2015-16 I'll take BOP summary. Okay, so here 2015-16 I'll take it in billion dollars, billion. Okay, so the first one I'll take as the current account balance. Okay, we'll write it down later. So current account balance, in that first component is trade account balance. Now all of you know this, so you can take it down along with me. There is no need to waste your time first by seeing and then by writing. I want you to write all those, that's the reason why I'm writing, otherwise I could have presented it in PowerPoint. Okay, so I prefer this way of teaching. Even if you don't like it, it doesn't matter, I like this way of teaching. So trade account balance, two components are there, as we have already discussed. Exports, I don't want to write specifically or implicitly goods, because when I'm talking about trade account, I'm talking about visible account. Okay, so exports of goods and imports of goods. Okay, So here this we have already discussed. This was 266 and this was 396. Since it was import, we'll put minus. If it is export, we put plus. And the trade account balance, all these are in $1 billion. Okay, so we have already written here $1 billion, and this was minus 130 as we have already discussed. Okay, so this is what your trade account balance. And then we have second part in the current account balance is invisible account balance. Invisible account balance. So in that, factor income, as I have just before discussed, that was minus 24 billion. Okay, whenever I'm writing income, I'm only writing about factor income, because income can be generated only through factor inputs. What are factor inputs? Land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship. And the reason why I've told you it should be positive is because it has to be positive, because there's a way you can generate income. And what is actually happening? We are paying interest for the capital account inflows from here, so it is actually turning negative. Okay, so second, non-factor means we have already discussed here. These are through this we are making income. Okay, and that is actually largely positive here. So that is 69, because I've told you we are the biggest exporters of IT and IT enabled services. And then we have transfers, that is plus 63, again plus. So if you add all these and take the difference, what do you think will be the balance? We have already discussed this, 108. Okay, and invisible account, we are always in surplus, because thanks to this IT. Okay, and the huge remittances that we are getting. So here you can see that much, 63 billion is the remittances. So 108. So here you see 130 minus 108. So what do you think the current account balance? 22 minus 22 billion. That's why we termed it as deficit. Okay, now we will move for capital account. So the second component will be capital account, that we will calculate it. Okay, so the first component is foreign investment. In that, first one is FDI and then PFI. PFI at that year was very negative. A lot of borrowings was there, unstable situation, fluctuations was there, so it's actually negative. Okay, and FDI 36. So foreign investment will be 32 positive. Okay, so I'm just taking this difference and we are writing it as 32. Then so this is how you need to understand when you're reading the economic survey. B, the ECB, NRI deposits, etc. all these comes. See, some errors and omissions will be there, so that one column for errors, omissions, etc. And ultimately this value was 40 plus 40. I've told you current capital account we are always surplus, so that we have already discussed this. Okay, now next is 3. We will talk about overall balance, right? Overall balance will be current account and capital account balance you need to take. So here we know current account plus 40 and capital account current capital account 40 and current account minus 22. So when you take the overall balance, this is actually positive, right? Minus 22 and plus 40. Because of this overall balance, we are going positive. Okay, so that means effectively $18 billion inflows there. That is how we need to interpret, and this is all thanks to the capital account inflow. Current account, if you take, it is outflow of $22 billion. Now this 3 you can write as, these 3 actually together you can write as. Now here you will be drawing a line. You have to draw a line, and we are going to write something below the line also. So these are written as above the line items. Nothing, this current account, capital account, overall balance, these are above the line items, also known as autonomous items. I'll tell you what I mean by autonomous items. Okay, so obviously below the line you will write it as below the line items, or you will also write it as accommodating items. Okay, now what will come here, just one line will come here, that is the fourth component, that is the reserve change. Okay, so reserve change means whatever is coming here, $18 billion positive is there. So you will write exactly the same here. That is a reserve change, but you have to put a negative value, because since this is positive, you will write this as negative. So reserve change is minus 18, just to maintain that plus 18 and minus 18. Effectively, it has to be 0. So that is the reason why you are putting this minus 18. But when you see reserve changes minus 18, it actually indicate there is a positive balance of 18. That is how you need to interpret. So actually increase in forex. Many students have this confusion. When you see negative, you think that it is outflow and decrease in forex. No, when I am talking about reserve change minus 18, it actually indicates increase in forex. 18 billion increase is there in forex. But why you're putting negative? Putting negative is to maintain that 0. It has to be 0 effectively. Okay, so when there is an increase in forex, you will put actually minus sign, and if you see plus sign, that actually indicate decrease in forex. Okay, so from where you get this, you'll get this from the fourth, that is the reserve change. So this is as per convention. No need to confuse. Now you should not have any confusion related to this. You see minus, it shows increase in forex. You see plus, it shows decrease in forex. I am talking about below the line. You should come below the line to know that. Don't otherwise directly overall balance, you see from that also you can understand it is 18 billion plus overall balance means 18 billion increases there in forex, no doubt in that. If you see below the line, then you don't get confused. When I'm talking about in minus, it is actually increase in forex. Again and again and again I'm telling the same point so that that confusion will be solved. Okay, now let me write it. What is this autonomous item and accommodating item? Autonomous items, these transactional items originate due to some economic motive. Okay, so these transactional items originate due to some economic motive, because imports and exports and all these are actually coming here. Now what is accommodating items? Accommodating item, these items or transactions accommodate or absorb the net impact of autonomous items. Okay, so here you can see what is the net impact of autonomous item, 18. So accommodating item, what they are doing, absorbing all the impact, so minus 18. Because I've told you if it is positive, the reserve change should be negative, because ultimately it has to be 0. You have to maintain it in 0 as per convention. It has to be done. So that is the role of the accommodating item. They will accommodate all the impact of the autonomous items to maintain it as 0. Okay, now one more concept. What do you mean by BOP equilibrium? Balance of payment equilibrium. BOP payment equilibrium means there is no change in forex. That means ultimately it has to be 0. The current, when I'm talking about the BOP, the overall balance, it has to be 0, and reserve change should also be 0. That means there is no increase or decrease in forex. Okay, so no change in forex, which means what? Above the line should be equal to below the line. It has to be same or 0, right? So autonomous receipts equal to autonomous payments. Okay, autonomous payments. That means above the line, whatever you are receiving and whatever you are giving, it has to be same. Then it will be 0. So below the line, the impact will also be 0. The accommodating point will be also 0. Okay, so that means inflow equal to outflow. Now what is BOP surplus? That is what actually you have seen here. That is very easy. BOP surplus equal to, we can mark this as 1, autonomous receipts as 1, and autonomous payments as 2. So in terms of 1 and 2, how can you tell that 1 should be greater than 2, right? Receipts to be more and payments to be less, then it will be surplus. So autonomous receipts to be more, payments to be less. What about BOP deficit? The reverse. The receipts are less and payments are more. So 1 less than 2. So I hope this is clear. everything I have explained in terms of this autonomous receipts and payments. What do you mean by autonomous receipts and payment? This is what autonomous items. So here, whatever you're receiving, that is, for example, this exports is something which you're receiving. This is autonomous receipts. Imports, autonomous payment. This income, receipts. Okay, so similarly, these are net we have taken. Similarly, these also whatever you're receiving, and here also there is something which you're paying. All these things are actually discussed here. So these are the concept. Okay, so if it is in surplus, forex will increase. If it is deficit, forex decrease. But this does not show actual situation. There may be crisis in the BOP situation also, BOP surplus also, that we will see in the next session. So I hope this discussion is clear for all of you. So what all things we have done, we have basically understood everything related to BOP. What is BOP? It is actually the systematic record of all economic transactions of residents of a country with the rest of the world. And I told you it is maintained in double entry bookkeeping system, and these are the components of BOP. Current account, capital account. Current account is divided into trade account and invisible account. Capital account, there are many items are coming. Okay, and then we have talked about current account balance, capital account balance, overall balance. I have shown you the BOP summary, so you can see the BOP summary here. BOP summary here. And then we have talked about the concepts related to BOP equilibrium, BOP surplus, BOP deficits and everything.